Many years had passed, but the land had never known peace again, since the day they buried the dwarf chief priest in their soil. That day was not the end. It was the beginning. At first, it came quietly, like a whisper in the night, like something watching from beneath the earth. Then, the curse revealed itself. Every male child born into the land died before the next sunrise. Mothers wept without rest. Fathers walked like empty shadows. And the joy of birth turned into the fear of death. Some said, at night, the ground where the dwarf chief priest was buried moved, as if something beneath it was still alive. But life had no choice but to continue. The people still went to their farms, still gathered in silence, still tried to smile, even when fear sat beside them. Among them were 3 young men, known throughout the land, not just for their strength, but for their bond. Uzzah, strong, fearless, a man who never bowed to fear. Black, empty, watching. Then, silence. At dawn, the royal gong sounded. Boom, boom, boom. The land froze. The king had called. The 3 friends stood. Hugo looked back, toward his home, toward Adogo. Emeta thought of MMA. Uzzah tightened his grip. This is it, he said. And together, they walked toward the palace. The king spoke. To end this curse, we must return to its source. The land of the dwarves. Fear spread like fire. We must retrieve the golden axe and destroy the evil tree. 14 men were chosen. Among them, Uzzah, Emeka, Hugo, and Ikomofuna, a thin, fragile man, whom no one believed would survive. Then, she appeared, young, but feared. Ngwanwani, the little one, not called so for her size, but for her power. The spirits speak to me, she said. I will lead them. The men protested. But the chief priest spoke. Without her, they will not return. Before they left, a law was given. No man must touch a woman, or the spirits will claim him. Hugo broke inside. Adogo cried. MMA stood in silence. And then, they left. The forest was not empty. It watched. It listened. It followed them. They encountered horrors. Water that turned to blood. Shadows that whispered their names. And a living pit that swallowed one of them whole. He fell into another world. The land of the dwarves. There, he met a dying dwarf, begging for water. And in that moment, he chose kindness. And it saved his life. Back in the forest, men began to die. One by one. 14 became 6. Still, they continued until they were attacked, captured, locked away. But the man who had fallen, now among the dwarves, saw them and helped them escape. Together, they found it, the golden axe. They took it, but the dwarves knew, and the chase began. They ran. The forest shook. The dwarves screamed. Then, Hugo was stabbed. He fell. The remaining men ran. But fate was not done. Ngwanwani betrayed them. For riches. For power. Her magic could only save one. Uzzah turned to Emeka. If I do not return, marry MMA. Protect her. Before Emeka could speak, Uzzah pushed him forward. Go. Moments later, the dwarves caught him and killed him. Emeka returned. Alone. Broken. But alive. Ngwanwani returned too. With a fake axe. The people rejoiced. But Emeka shouted, "Stop. That is not the real axe." And the truth was revealed. The king was furious. For her betrayal. For the lives lost, Ngwanwani was buried alive beside the grave of the dwarf chief priest. Then, the real golden axe was used. The evil tree fell. Rain returned. The land lived again. And for the first time in years, male children survived. Emeka kept his promise. He married MMA. Not out of joy, but out of honor, out of love, out of sacrifice. The land is at peace again.